What's up everyone, how's it going? This is Chris, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Homefront and give you some tips and tricks, the little things I've picked up from playing Homefront over the past few games, and share them with you from a Call of Duty point of view. So if there's anyone looking to have a go at Homefront, or you've currently got the game and you're having some trouble like I did, I think like everyone does whenever you pick up a new game, you have to go through the other levels and kind of learn how it all works. So let me share some ideas and tips and tricks and things that I've picked up, and compare the two games and see how you kind of have to change your gameplay to kind of succeed in Homefront. So generally, let's first up let's look at how Homefront works. I think, as we all know by now, it's a game with large teams and multiplayer game types. We've got team deathmatch, ground control, and battle commander game types. A main difference from Call of Duty is it takes a few more shots to kill than in Call of Duty. That's one of the first things you'll notice. I'm still shooting enemies and starting to reload, thinking they're dead, and they've not actually died yet. So I've lost my life a few times down to that. It would be nice if the hit mark system was a bit more clearer, like in Call of Duty. You don't get the nice thud and the little hit mark sound that we get in Black Ops or the other Call of Duty games, so it's worth paying attention on screen. I talked in my intro video and my little review about the kill streaks and vehicles that you can get in Homefront. These are earned through battle points, and you get battle points by killing enemies, helping your team out and capturing objectives. Unlike Call of Duty, it doesn't matter if you die when accumulating your points. Like in Call of Duty, if you accumulate a few kills and then you die, you kind of lose your kill streak. So that's one of the great things about Homefront. You can spend your battle points on the two items in your loadout, or you can save them up and buy a vehicle. There's a bunch of different weapons, mainly assault rifles. There's a couple of SMGs, a couple of LMGs, a couple of sniper rifles, and a weird shotgun that needs to be bought to be unlocked. I've not seen many people running around with that. But all the weapons have attachments that you can unlock, and you unlock these by getting kills with the weapon. The attachments range from red dot sights, holographic sights, ACOG sights, underbarrel shotgun, and a silencer. There's also a range of perks like in Call of Duty, but these are known as infantry abilities, and instead of just having 3 slots, you can choose as many as you like, as many as you can afford within the 5 points that you're given. The perks come in costs of 1, 2 and 3, so you can mix and match, so you can have 1 3 perk and another one that costs 2, so make it 5, or you can have 5 that cost 1 point. So you can mix and match and choose the perks that best suit your play style. So overall, it's worth keeping in mind that it's a strategic game. You kind of have to stalk and hunt out your enemies one at a time, unlike Call of Duty where you can just blaze into the battlefield and get multi-kills. Homefront's a little bit more difficult. You kind of have to look at where the enemies are and hunt them out. You can see when you're spawning in where everyone is on the battlefield, so that gives you a good indicator. It's also worth remembering this if you're in the enemy territories, that anyone respawning will be able to see exactly where you are, even if you're using the ghost perk and the silencer. So during the first few hours of gaming, first day or so, I was the main experience I had is that you spawn, you run into the battlefield, you have to kind of sprint for about 3 miles to actually see any action, and then suddenly you'll just drop down dead without even seeing anyone, and then back to the beginning. So it's worth talking about what to look out for when you're playing. In Call of Duty, we're all used to seeing the people, seeing the bad guys. They're on the screen, they're easy to see, and they're about a couple of inches tall. It's quite hard to miss them most of the time. With Homefront, however, with these super large maps, the characters are quite minuscule, and it's really hard to see them, especially if they're hidden behind cover. We're talking about a little character that's maybe a couple of millimeters tall on a screen, and that's like playing on a 40-inch TV. So as you can see, it's a lot more difficult to spot people, and they're the ones that are pegging you as you run into the battlefield. So another tip worth talking about is not to rely too much on your UAV, the little radar in the corner. With Call of Duty, any of the radar dots on the edges of the radar aren't really anything to worry about. It just kind of gives you an indication where the bad guys are at the other side of the map. With Homefront, however, these dots at the edge of the radar are quite important, because you'll find that you rarely have people actually within the confines, within the edges of your radar screen, and even those people at the right of the edge will still be able to shoot you and probably have a good sight line on you and kill you. So what you need to do really is whenever you see these dots on the edge of the screen, stop sprinting towards them and look in that general direction for these little characters. You know, we talked about that little couple of millimeters high little character somewhere on the screen. So look in that general direction, see if you can see them hidden behind some cover on top of a building, something like that. It's also worth noting that the personal UAV sweep is not as useful as you might think. The spy plane in Call of Duty is really handy, but as with Call of Duty, there's a perk called Ghost, and in Homefront it's pretty cheap at just 1 point, so it also makes it quite common. So that means that there's a lot of enemies who are running Ghost that don't pop up on the radar, and even if you're running around staring at the radar all the time, like I did after getting pegged a few times, I thought, right, this time I'm just going to stare at that radar screen, and then I'll not miss them. But you'll find that they'll just pop up out of nowhere and kill you, and then it's game over and back to the start again. So just keep that in mind. The personal UAV sweep is quite a useful item to have in your loadout, but don't rely on it too much. So let's talk about the battle point system. It's worth saving up for your kill streaks. In Call of Duty, kill streaks kind of win the game. It's no secret that working up to your kill streaks can often turn the game around, and it's kind of the same in Homefront. With the kill streaks, you either get the two options that you've chosen in your loadout, or you can choose to respawn in a vehicle. It might be a light armoured tank, a heavily armoured tank, or some sort of helicopter. And it's up to your type of gameplay whether you can consider spending your points on early kill streaks, such as the ones in your loadout, or whether you keep them saved up and go for some sort of tank. It's worth remembering though that sometimes the lower kill streaks can't be shot down quite as easy, and you won't lose them as much. For instance, I enjoy using the white phosphorus airstrike, which can really get you a good selection of kills and get your name in the kill feed for a couple of seconds, where you blast multiple enemies at once with this kind of badass airstrike. On the other hand, you might save up a lot more and go for a tank or a helicopter, but they can be really taken out quite easily with EMP grenades, rocket launchers, and other vehicles that the enemy might have. So it's always annoying when you've saved up all those points, you spawn out in a helicopter or a tank, and it gets blown up before you've even managed to get a kill with it. So basically, like with all games, like with Call of Duty, same with Homefront, leveling up is kind of the aim of the game. You'll unlock all the good stuff as you advance through the levels. So in order to advance through the levels, play to win, capture objectives, use different weapons, and try to complete the challenges to unlock the different weapon attachments. These will all gain you experience points. A little tip that I've picked up is if you kind of dropped into a game that's already started, make sure you've got a little level up class set up. Make sure with this class that you've selected the Parrot drone. What that Parrot does is it kind of floats around the battlefield, and it doesn't get any kills, but it allows you to mark the enemy to enable your teammates to see them more clearly. You'll notice the little red diamonds. They're the enemies that have been marked, and it makes your teammates know where everyone is, and even the users with Ghost can't hide from it. It is quite easy to shoot down, so if you're on a team where the enemy's got a Parrot up, make sure you take that down as soon as possible, because it can really ruin the game. You'll have people hunting you out from all directions. So combined with the Parrot drone, make sure you've also got the Grizzled perk, which is unlocked a little bit later on. I think it's around around 18 or so. I'll have to double check that, but it's a 2-point perk, and what it does is it enables you to level up quicker, so it gives you more experience points than you would have got without it. And so basically, if you're in a game that's already started, or if you had a bad start, just switch to your level up class and fly around with the Parrot drone marking people, and what you'll do is you get battle points every time you mark someone, and anytime you get an assist by someone else killing the enemy after you've marked them. So it really does boost your experience points, and helps overall the team win the game, so you get even more points there. Right, so that's all for now. I hope these tips help out. Let me know your experiences, if it kind of changes your game. It's quite a good fun game to play if you're getting sick of Black Ops. It's nice to switch over and play something a little bit different. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.